different stories about how they were cursed with red eyes and elongated.
Why did you talk about Russia
Like this is very well documented. I put a
and
whole
Ukraine?
in the chat for people to go look at.
If I could offer
So anyway, go ahead. I hope I didn't go all over the place, but I get where Sam is coming from. I just think that he needs to break it down into each subject.
I completely agree with Ben. And Sam, if I could offer you a different perspective here, me as an Egyptian American who grew up in Los Angeles, a suburb of Los
Why are you
Angeles,
obsessed with the Jews?
I actually had
Why aren't you talking about Russia and Ukraine like 100 other war zones?
Because I just
This
never
is
lived around any Jews.
I'm so sick
And
of
that's going to be
Clubhouse.
the situation for the vast majority of Americans. They don't actually even really know what Jews look like. And I've verified that anecdotally. If you kind of look into the research, like where Jews are scattered across the country, you can like theoretically posit that pretty easily. So if that's the case, then there is like an acknowledgement that Jewish people have to make, that you have to make. A lot of people are going to think you're a white man, or a lot of people are going to think a Jewish woman is a white woman. So then, if you take
What's a white man?
2025, and we're not talking about historical oppression,
what's a man?
Modern day oppression. The oppression only begins
It's racial identity politics.
The man or woman is Jewish, which is a step that's not necessary for the Black American, where the oppression begins when they enter the room. I think that gives people in Black America a lot of room to not necessarily not acknowledge the historical and modern day oppression of Jews, but they differentiate the two because they face, I would agree with the labeling, a more active oppression.
Right. You summed up exactly what I was saying. Like, it's nothing personal, you know.
For me, it's personal. That like people should be able to just know a little bit of history and know, hey, the Jews have had it rough, and it's been shitty to be Jewish, and that it's not nice to spread blood libels, and it's not nice to blame us for fucking problems that we didn't do, and to focus, just uniquely focus on our crimes. We've dealt with the Inquisition, we dealt with the Holocaust, we dealt with the fucking Romans, we dealt with a lot of fucking horseshit in history, and it's not...
Welcome to life.
What are you referring to? Because you're not referring to the Bible, because you don't believe in that.
I'm talking about the Roman, like the Bar Kokhba rebellion, and shit like that. And like, it's just like, I don't know, man. It would be nice if Black people could just say, hey, I understand that Jews have gone through a lot, and I sympathize with that. And Jews could say, hey, Blacks, I understand that you've been through a lot, and I sympathize with that. I wish that could be what it is. But I'm pretty cynical that that's going to happen. I think there's just going to be too many Black people who are too uneducated, they have too many conspiracy theories in their minds, and they're just going to, they see the rich white people, and they have conspiracies in their minds, and they're just going to find...
Is it that we're too uneducated, or we have our own issues? Like, you want us to jump on the bandwagon when there's things that we have to do in our own community. I don't understand why we're too uneducated to know that people are harmed by words and violence to care. That's crazy. No one has to be educated to know that. There's things in the Black community that we have to address first. Maslow hierarchy of needs. You secure your foundation, and then you move forward. If you're in the airplane and it's going down, you put your mask on first before you can help somebody else.
Good luck, Sam.
On a personal level, I understand what you're saying.
Sam wants the impossible: education, depoliticization, and mutual understanding. Good luck, Sam.
That we're not getting educated in, and have to worry about that.
I just want sympathy. I want no conspiracy theories, and I want some sympathy. I don't need you to get our backs. I just need you not to set up a little bit of sympathy and to not spread hatred around.
Very obviously, the vast majority of Jewish conspiracy has been written and performed by white people, and you know that, dude. Like the vast majority.
Not in recent times. I mean, yeah,
dude, that's just not true, bro. Like I would need you to like provide some data signals as to why you think that. Like, you really think today Black people in America are talking more negatively about Jews than white people?
Yes.
Like, do you know the Nick Fuentes following online and his building of little incels that are super, like who are the major Black influencers that are anti-Semitic?
Kanye West, Kyrie Irving. Louis Farrakhan. Is Kanye West received for his anti-Semitism? What's that?
You're such a self-hating one.
Wait,
1 second. But nothing even turns. Nothing really. Like the whole point you made, D, like, just to be clear, one, I'm kind of more concerned with the Jewish than I I am with like being partisan anyway. So even if that, like, let's just say there's actually just a comprehensive study that's just like it concludes that 99.9% of black people are anti-Semitic. And I think that the methodology was rigorous. I would accept the data. I wouldn't deny it for the sake of like being black and not wanting people to pass aspersions.
You don't have
Even
to be
so, yeah.
anti-Semitic just because
Even
we
so,
disagree with
I know,
you.
but just chill,
Why
man.
you
I
gotta
know,
make
but just
everything is
chill. Like that's not a response to what I said. Like please, you're not even gonna respond to this stuff, man. But then to like all the like what Sam's saying is just trivial if you're not a racist. Yes, it would be nice if like people like if the black people who are racist were nice to Sam, were disabused of their racism, that would just be a good thing. And it's like you people identify yourselves as one of these like minority anti-Semites. Then you shouldn't really be pushing back on that. It seems like what you are interested in, which I think a lot of people have picked up on and criticized Sam for, is that he has this weird preoccupation with the misdeeds of the black community, right? As opposed to the misdeeds of any other community. And we might ask him the question, hey, it is true.
Yeah.
There is a significant amount of just Americans who are anti-Semites, and just the global population, some of which are not in fact anti-Semites, they're accused of it, but are anti-Zionist, that's been conflated with anti-Semitism. Some of which are just like, honest to God, anti-Semitic, right? Anti-Semites. The question you got to ask Sam is, why is there this weird focus on the black community? Or this like subgroup of anti-Semites, this black subgroup of anti-Semites? And like Ray was about to touch on that, which is like, who do you think represents the
Doctor!
Take like all the white nationalist anti-Semites.
Yeah.
Bro, that foot looks swollen as fuck.
Yeah.
You alright, man?
Yeah. Doesn't look good. I should probably go get some ice. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Sounds like you need some Vagisil put on that motherfucker. It was like a yeast infection from a vagina.
Well, I can actually walk again. So that's a big thing. I think I probably got like 3 more days of this, hopefully, before it passes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just being a pussy.
No, dude, I've been past 4 days. I have been laid up, and it has not been fun. It's like it is terrifyingly shocking how painful it is.
I've
Have you ever had a gout infection?
No, never. Dude,
Damn.
my kidneys raw.
I don't know. The fuck you drink so much beer? You're pretty thin now.
Why do you think my kidneys rock?
How much do you weigh?
160 pounds, soaking wet.
Yeah, I probably could. Every time I go to the doctor, they always say you could lose 20
The
pounds.
biggest I've ever been is 235.
That's pretty big.
Well, I mean, I look like my frame, but I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, you were jacked
Like,
at the time?
I was fucking really big before I went. Dude, I was really big, and I like to run. I've always liked to run. Like, your workout will never hurt your cardio, but your cardio will hurt your workout. That was my dad's rule of thumb. But I was a steak and potatoes kind of kid.
Mm.
Like I said, my dad was raising me to be military before I even realized that's what he was doing.
Yeah, my dad was doing the same thing, but I don't even know if my dad was aware of it. But, my dad was a cop for 30 years, and I gotta say, being a cop in Chicago for 30 years, he's very disciplined, It's like...
Way vague.
Yeah, my dad didn't drink, didn't smoke weed, just straight up, a workaholic.
He was a beat guy. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, he was a beat patrolman, yeah.
Well, I mean, my step granddad was a DC cop for 25 fucking years. He told me some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then his wife Juanita, she was my step grandmom, but it was my mom's 4th husband. But I like meeting them because we had to go talk to them at, Turkey Day and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? But hell yeah, man.
You know, I do believe that there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe. So even with all this hyper polarized politicization, it's almost like it's so easy to get wrapped up in it, you know, or to even get called into action, you know, activated through all this media, and it's like it's all gonna go away. It'll all blow away. It'll all disappear, and it's like the environment is constantly trying to pull you into its projection through the media, and it's like, man, I'll tell you, if you have your Second Amendment rights, it's like just sit at home and let the hurricane pass, you know?
And dude, they have no idea what the hurricane will feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, like, uh, you know, be a part of the solution, but I feel like I'm lucky that I don't have to be a part of the solution, even though I'd like to be. Uh, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying that like life is boring, and when you're sick and you can't walk, it's like nothing really matters. You're like, you know, you're like, when you can't walk, you literally cannot walk. You're like, oh shit, like shit starts getting real again, and you're like, man, I'm not making the best decisions, but I can't even walk, so I can't make decisions. You know, you're just like rendered neutered. It's embarrassing too. It's like I can't even tell people like, oh, I can't get together because you know, I have a gout infection.
Yeah, dude, I hope you never have fucking like kidney or like heart surgery.
Yeah, I wonder how long I'll live. Like, if my dad will outlive
Well,
me, if my mom will outlive me. You know, who knows?
dude, other than my grandfather's, my biological grandfather, I'm 3 years younger than him when he died. No, 4, 2, 3. Yeah, he was like 54 when he died.
Mhm.
But I mean, other than him and my biological line, I'm the oldest. I've lived longer than my biological father and my adopted father, and I've got one uncle that beats me, and he's still alive. He's like 82 or so.
Yeah, I watched my uncle die, and the way he died, I would prefer to do like what's it called? Like the when you do assisted, you know, assisted.
Euthanasia.
Yeah, I would rather do euthanasia than do what my uncle did because it was just so incredibly brutal.
Dude, I wish I could have done that for my mom because she was doing those like 24-hour fentanyl patches,
Yeah.
and and you're only supposed to put one on at a time. And when her liver cancer got moved around her body,
Mhm.
she would put 2 of those on each side of the backside of her kidney.
Wow.
Like, and I didn't realize that she was overdosing herself until I came, you know, because she didn't tell me that she was like doing it like that.
Mhm.
Because she was hiding me from her pain. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But by the time I got there, it was too fucking late, man.
Yeah.
Like, she let the hospice care kill her.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, and I got in trouble for threatening to kill all the people from hospice.
Oh shit.
That was when I met you.
Oh shit.
No, I'm being dead ass.
Yeah. Yeah. You actually got in trouble for that? Like, what'd they do? You had to like.
Well, the the police called me and they'd say, "We hear you have a pistol and you're in your mom's house," and I'm like, "Yeah, what you got?" And they're like, "Well, would you mind giving your gun so everybody around you would be?" I'm like, "Bitch, please come get it."
Mhm.
They're like, "No, sir, we don't want to come get it." You know, because they didn't have any grounds for anything.
See, you're like a terrible.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you're like a terrible person to have to, like chastise because you have status.
Yeah, I'll hurt you.
No, not just that, but I mean you're a war veteran, so it's like, when the police or somebody has to try to rectify you or ask you for something, and you made threats, it's like, well, I mean, you're kind of in the wrong to like make threats against people at the hospice, but at the same time, you're not.
Yeah, well, but there was no like recording of it.
Oh, it was just he said, she said, so you knew that it was all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the police like were going by the he said, she said.
Yeah. I love the he said, she said situations where you're like, you got to record it.
I'm like, where you got me on the evidence? What am I being convicted of? What did you witness? They don't got no witness of anything. There's no evidence of damn near anything.
Yeah, I've made some federal recordings, and the people that I recorded, they, in hindsight, they're like, oh shit, I hope he wasn't recording that.
Well, I mean, you're recording this now, so I just did it to myself.
It's just it's funny when people.
You're like the new, like 21 Jumper.
Did you ever see the movie The Conversation with Gene Hackman?
I like Hackman. Rest in peace, and his wife and their dog.
I know, it's pretty sad how they died. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't recall by the name of it.
It's basically, you could call it The Recorder. He was like an NSA CIA spy, and the whole movie's about like making secret recordings of people who don't know they're being recorded. It's an interesting movie. Yeah, you want the link? I'll give you the preview. It's a lot of fun.
No, I'm cool. I don't really give a shit. I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I got too many. I'm right in the middle of 2 binge watches, and I'm not sure which one I'm gonna watch when I get off the fucking mic with you.
What are you watching?
Oh, Animal Kingdom, and what's the other one? Jeez Louise.
What's the Animal Kingdom? Is that the BBC thing or the?
No, it's a U.S. thing. It's about like now I gotta go on my fucking Netflix to figure out what the fuck we're talking about. There you go. Jesus Louise, I have fiber optics. Why is it taking this long?
You got fiber at your house?
Oh yeah.
What is it, AT&T?
Extra. No, it's called Kinetics.
What you have?
Oh, I'm in between Animal Kingdom and Blind Spot. Blind Spot just showed up on Netflix like yesterday or the day before, but there's like 7 seasons, and it's this hot ass chick with a bunch of tattoos that I totally want to put my cock in. Don't judge me.
How did
you never want to put your cock in a chick with a lot of tattoos?
No, I have.
Did your gout hurt? Did your gout stop you from doing it?
Gout does stop you from fucking. You gotta be able to walk to the vagina.
He's like, I want my dick to hurt like my foot.
I went to work one day. This guy Ryan was like, he's like, oh man, my girlfriend. No, this is my necro impersonation. my girlfriend, she kicked me in the balls straight up. I was like, bro, maybe you gotta go to the emergency room. He's like, will you look at my balls? And man, his fucking balls and his dick were purple and swollen. I was like, oh my god.
He had it torqued out like a motherfucker.
Couldn't believe it. What up, Necro?
Hey, I don't know if I remember you.
Well,
I'm pretty
you
sure
don't
I
you don't
remember
remember you don't remember my foot?
I know you, Doc. This John guy is who I'm talking about.
You don't remember
Well,
my
the
foot?
only reason I'm on Clubhouse is because of John, so welcome to the Clubhouse.
I've talked to you like 10 times at least, Necro. You can't remember my voice?
I mean, there's a lot of voices.
Hello?
I've made fun of you probably more than anyone on this app, Necro. You can't remember me?
No.
Actually, that can't be true. There's no way that I'm the number one maker fun of you. There's lots of
Dude,
people. that
you're
make fun of
the
you.
number one troll from Clubhouse 2021.
I think I'm like the number one troll of every year that this fucking app has existed. But that's just
We
me.
haven't had an awards show since 2021, but yeah.
Well, I issued a Clubby Award today to this guy Sam Rosen for creating some very, some hot rooms today. Decent numbers actually. This room's decent at number 2, but this room's called Black Hatred of Other Races Has to Stop.
How about black fatigue is a real fucking thing?
So, Necro, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
I was in a Healthy Foods room, and somebody invited me up, and then when I said I had nothing to say, I was moved back down.
Well, do you have anything to say now before you get moved back down?
Yeah. How long have you worked here?
How long have I worked on Clown House?
Yeah.
2020 or 2019, December 2019, maybe November 2019.
I'm December of 21.
Because what I was doing is I was live streaming myself on YouTube, having conversations with people that I know on my phone, and girls I was going out on dates with. So I was like doing live streaming, and then my friend who I had sold marijuanabusiness.com to, he said, dude, you're going to love Clubhouse. And he's like, I'm talking to Elon Musk. You got to get on Clown House fast. So then I got on here. Yeah, and then I started live streaming Clubhouse into YouTube during the pandemic, and for basically the past 6 years of my life, I've been live streaming Clubhouse onto YouTube every day of the week, fucking 56 hours a week.
He even sent me a phone from Chicago down to Georgia, so I can like fill the phone up with a whole bunch of different profiles.
It's kind of interesting how like you don't know me, but my name is John, but I've had all these other profiles. So it's like I condition people with other names, and then I come on here as John, and people are like, "Who are you?"
Hello? 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 I don't think they understand they're asking a hole in the ground job.
Necro thinks that fucking a trans isn't gay. That's just how stupid he is.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he fucked a trans, but he doesn't consider himself gay, and he doesn't think that that guy was a guy. But people. This is 2025. These are things that people have to deal with now.
You can't say that and not make eye contact.
John, I just want to say, like I said, in my defense, you can't tell me that you look at trans people like Blair White and tell me that you don't.
No, I don't get a boner. I mean,
I don't get a boner of Blair White. No.
I don't even know who Blair White is, but
she's like 5'4", or he's 5'4". But like I've known Blair for like fucking a decade on this app, and if there's any trans that I would consider to be a woman around me, it would be Blair. But I ain't fucking it.
Yeah. I mean, Necro, I matched with this trans once like 10 years ago.
Like I said, like the ones who I did fuck, I didn't actually know that they were
The
trans.
ones? How many?
There's plural. That motherfucker said plural.
Yeah, you didn't figure it out after the first time.
No, because like I mean, many trans people are.
He went back to make sure it was the same thing.
Yeah, many of them are afraid that I'll kill them or something if I found out.
Yeah, I mean, I went out on a.
Where the fuck are you, Thailand?
So I matched with this trans once who, honestly, was like a perfect 10, you know, and so I go to the person's condo. I'm texting him outside of the condo, and he texts me, he goes, "You know I'm trans though, right?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" And I looked at the profile again, and I was like, "Oh my god, fuck, that is a guy." But I was like, "But damn, those are like the most perfect tits I've ever seen." So I had no idea that, like, plus it's all photoshopped, and so then I got very angry, and not like I wanted to kill the person. I kind of would like to prefer to like punch the person and spit on the person, you know, something like that. But only because they wasted my time. That I had to drive all the way downtown, and I'm parked in front of this faggot's house for an hour, text messaging this person, and then, you know, it was a me problem. I was like, I'm just a fucking moron for wasting my time like this. And why the fuck didn't I actually, like, you know, verify or even figure this out beforehand?
What in the grinder are you talking about?
It was like Bumble. It was like she said she went to University of Chicago. I'm telling you, she was like half Japanese, half it was Thai, maybe. I don't know. It looked fucking amazing.
Shit, blazing. I got you.
Yeah, it was an amazing trans. Like, and you know, kudos to that fucking trans. Like, they were the perfect trans.
Dude, I had the same thing when I was like 21. My roommate, his girlfriend was a roommate with a woman that owned a gay bar called the Cold Keg down in Melbourne, Florida. And I went to one of their, like, you know, my roommate took me to her house party, and we had such a good time, and like I was cool with everybody, and everybody's cool. And the lady that owned the bar, my roommate's girlfriend's, you know, roommate, she's like, "Hey, anytime you want to come down to this bar, you can come down here, and you know, I'll give you $10 on your tab." I'm like, "Fuck yeah! I'll come down and I'll put $20 down. I'll drink, you know, $20 worth of beer and give a $10 tip." You know, that was me. I was in there this one time. It was this Puerto Rican girl.
But yeah,
and she was about 5 foot. She was about 5'1". I'm telling you, this bitch, no Adam's apple, fine as and I bought her a beer or two, and then, like, you know, I'm like, "Hey, I'm about to go head back to my house. You want to go with me?" And she's like, "You know my guy, right?" I'm like, "Holy fuck!"
And I will say that in general, but yeah, I will say I prefer a cis woman.
A cis woman? What's a cis woman?
One that basically wanted to.
He said he prefers, but that doesn't mean he won't other do.
Identifies with the gender that they were signed at birth.
Oh, I see.
Well, I get that you're a fag, dude.
But Necro, you've had sexual experiences now, so like, do you actually believe that the sexual experience with the cis woman is superior to the trans man?
I mean,
does it feel better?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, like, it really just changed my feelings, about it, mainly just after I found out they were trans. Because, like, yeah, I was kind of pissed because, I mean, it was like...
How do you keep picking trans people?
No, it's not that I picked them. It's just they lied to me.
But do you feel stupid afterwards? Or do you think that's part of the regret, that you feel like you've been, you know, scammed or lied to?
Like tomfoolery?
Yeah, because I legitimately usually am looking for a date, usually.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that, you know,
Bro,
It just would never work out.
that man's your girlfriend, dude.
It's like you need 3 holes, you know, for me to want to, you know, regularly to have sex with you.
Well, a man's got actually. Let me count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes.
11.
Where are the other 5? Like your eyelids? That would be. Well, then where are the other ones?
Jesus Christ had extra. So
Do you think Jesus was trans?
no.
Oh, because technically, you know, he is actually transcendental, so you know, you could consider him trans.
No, like
Spiritual.
he had 4 more holes, you know.
Anyways, there's no shame in being fooled. I mean,
it's like,
the
you know,
fool
you
me
come
once, right?
across- So I mean, like, you know.
So would you? I mean, I've heard you in other rooms. What's it called when you desire what somebody else has?
To covet.
Covet. Is there another word like? Yeah, there's another word, but let's just go.
Jealousy?
No, there's another one. It's like you desire what they have. It's covetousness, but anyways, my point is,
Well, in Hebrew, in Arabic, it'd be like, mashallah, like, I'm happy for your success, but I'm not jealous for you.
I guess what I was saying is, Necro, would you prefer traditional life? You know, a wife, kids, a house, a job, a good income, stability.
Not children. A wife, yeah, I would want.
You wouldn't even want to have one kid, even if everything was going great and like environment afforded it.
Yeah.
Really? Why not? What's the stress involved in it? It's like you got a wife, she doesn't have to work, she can do everything. You get unlimited money, you got housing, you got a nice car, you got security, and you still wouldn't want to have a kid because what's your reasoning behind that? You think that like you're that pessimistic?
Yeah, I'm just not into being a parent.
Damn. Well, do you think that opinion can change for you, or do you firmly believe that you always have that belief?
It could. Maybe my spouse in the future might talk me into wanting to have one.
All right. Well, then you're not a total neurotic, because if you have all or nothing positions right now, I mean, to me that's like the basis of neurotic thinking. But I could be wrong about that too. I don't know.
I kind of really just like, coming home, being free, being able to, work on what I want, to be able to play video games, not have some jack yapping,
Pro lyrical in the house, funny with the money, yo, you got me mistaken, honey. I don't want to
When
rape
I do
it. I
it
just
like
want the.
this, you don't even know I'm playing with you. What you want to do it?
It's interesting you said.
Man, when I do what I say, I'm a man. When I do what I play, I'm a video games. I ain't coming home to no bitch that's trying to say all that dumbass drama in my motherfucking life. Fuck that shit. I ain't trying to get married right now. You hear me right?
It's interesting though. You said that you're in Chicago. I've been there like at least twice in the past year and a half. So.
Well, I'm not trans. If you want to, get a blowjob or something like that, or fuck my vaginal fake vaginal fluid.
I do not want you sucking my dick.
I was just kidding. What did you do in Chicago?
What did I do in Chicago?
I felt like I was about to use you for a anchor on the Lady Hawk.
Well, me and my uncle went there for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, nice. Where'd you go? Did you go to the river?
Yeah, we went to the river.
Nice.
Yeah, we also went to a pub, and I got like this tahini Brussels sprouts, and he also got some. I tried scotch for the first time because it was too smoky for me. I'm not a person who drinks a lot of alcohol anyways. I mean, to me, it has to have some sweetness.
My dad passed away when I was 17, but everything I know about my dad is he loved to put Glenlivet, the 12-year single Scotch malt whiskey, and he would put it on ice with water. And like my whole life, every time I have my birthday, I always order a drink of it. And I'm like, you know, maybe I'll like it this year as an acquired taste. And every time I do it, bro, I fucking have to run to the bathroom and yak.
Yeah. No, it's like to me, like with alcohol, like to me it has to be like sweet. So like I do like the
Rums.
Or I like sangria. I also like margarita.
I don't practice Santeria. Never mind.
I also like vodka.
Well, vodka goes good with Red Bull.
Yeah, there's a clip of Kurt Cobain being asked whether he liked being a father. He's like, vodka? Yeah, I like vodka.
Look what happened to him. Didn't his fucking girl kill him? What's her face? That stupid bitch.
I think if I married Courtney Love, I would probably kill myself too.
Did you ever see her in the movie The People versus Larry Flint when she's got like that nasty herpes or
when she
whatever?
was the bitch that like drowned herself at the end of the movie.
Yeah, actually great, fucking great job.
Really bad.
That was a real story, by the way.
I feel really bad for Frances that she, you know, grew up without Kurt Cobain and grew up with Courtney Love.
No, I think that she's gonna go to a special place.
My sister actually met her on an
Frances.
airplane. She sat next to her. Yeah, my sister knew who she was too because she was a big Kurt Cobain fan. She said she had like a great convo. Took a selfie with her. She was very nice.
Yeah, Courtney Love, well, I mean, that's all she's got now. Because she knows when she dies, she goes to hell.
Yeah.
Hell's probably air conditioned by now.
Did you think though that like her personality was like so perfect for that role that like that's why it came through so good?
Well,
wasn't
she
acting.
was a heroin addict, and so was he, and they were addicts together. That's why when she played that Larry Flint movie, the guy from like Penthouse, like, you know, she was literally just playing a role of herself, like Eminem in 8 Mile. It's like, how hard do you have to act when you're playing yourself?
When I lived in Redondo Beach, I had a roommate in this other room, and I don't know what him and his girlfriend were doing, but they were constantly vomiting. So I assumed they were like doing heroin. I think I looked it up. Like that's one of the side effects is like you get, you know, nausea. It was so disgusting.
If you don't have enough, yes.
It was so gross listening to people like vomit or dry retch vomit like over and over again. I was just like, how can you live like that? To sit there and constantly going like what the fuck? Like, good lord, that's brutal.
Well, I'm so glad that I'm allergic to fucking opioids and sulfa.
Sofas.
Yeah, sulfa drug. I can't have sulfa medication.
I just want to say, so in the next, before the end of next year, I'm probably going to be living in Inglewood. So.
Oh, good luck.
Inglewood up to no good. You better watch out.
Make sure you bring a spear and a shield with you.
At least it's not Compton.
If you can, live in...
I'd rather live in Compton than Inglewood.
Dude, I lived in Hermosa Beach. No, I lived in Manhattan Beach in a basement for $800 a month. $800 a month in Manhattan Beach. I was so happy. It was paradise. Inglewood is not far from the beach either, but if you can get into a nicer neighborhood or something.
Wait, are you talking about Inglewood East Coast or Inglewood West Coast?
California.
West Coast.
Yeah, Inglewood up no good, West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just like, you know.
I thought you were talking about near Redondo Beach and all that.
Yeah, Inglewood's right over there.
Yeah.
What are you doing? School?
No, I would rather live in Pasadena or Huntington.
Are you doing an internship or something?
No, it's just where I'm planning to choose to live.
Oh.
You know?
Well, wait, are you finishing your undergrad?
Yes.
Man, I would tell you, like, Best advice I ever got that I didn't take was, as soon as you finish that fucking undergrad, go straight into your graduate degree. Don't delay. Don't fucking waste your time.
Why? I mean, graduate degrees are only for people who want to teach usually.
I'll tell you why, because the momentum is so much easier when you're younger. You'll never get that momentum again. And you'll be so much more valuable than any other graduate who comes out with an undergrad. I mean, if you're smart enough and you can do something technical, do it. But even if you can't, what's the fucking difference, dude? You're going to get so many more opportunities if you have that graduate degree.
So.
But you could still do a graduate degree in art and art something, I don't know, and then hopefully get it paid for even.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I don't know. It's a thought.
See, even doctor agrees with me.
Well, excuse me.
When I say I have 3 college degrees, I mean I have 3 associate's degrees.
I have 2 associates.
They're associate's degrees. They're not bachelors. It's not like I went and got an associate degree and went straight for another bachelor's.
Yeah.
I went and used that information that I got and went and made money.
I know, you're right.
And you know what? And then I went back to school and I got me another degree and then used that information and made more money. And then went after that and got more money because I had another degree. And you know what? Then I retired at 44. And on July 12th, in like 4 fucking weeks, motherfucker, it'll be 6 years I've been retired. And if you don't like that, suck my nuts.
Well, Necro might be able to do that. Wait, were all the trans that you slept with post-op?
Oh, Jesus Lord, no. I didn't
They
mean
were?
that Necro.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty rare.
Yeah. And they didn't have like any like weird voice that gave me a sense that they might be trans or anything like that. They would.
Bro, you sound like this person I know named Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah, you sound like Jeff.
Because I'm the guy from Jeff's house.
No, not that Jeff.
Yeah, because that's the only Jeff I know in Clubhouse.
I'm talking about Freeman.
Jeff Freeman.
Yeah. You listen to his words that you sound like him. Very, very close vocally.
I mean, I've heard people say that I sound like Stephen Wright.
Well, I'm telling you, I know that you sound like. Dude, I want to throw an ashtray at somebody.
Yeah, it's like Stephen Wright who said that my theory of evolution is that Darwin was adopted.
Your theory of evolution that Darwin was adopted?
Yes.
What, the theory of survival of the fittest?
No.
How are you dismissing his philosophy? By calling him whatever the fuck you just said?
I don't know.
Dude, why do people not fucking make
So, Doc, I just have something to say. An Irishman walks out of a bar. That was the joke.
Hey, well, I mean, you know how many Jews you could fit in a fucking Volkswagen Beetle?
Necro, did you ever hear the one?
The answer,
Oh, I'm sorry.
the answer is 10,000. 2 in the front, 2 in the back, 9,996 in the fucking ashtray.
Oh, no.
Did you ever hear the one about the black guy that walks into the bar with the parrot on his shoulder? The bartender says, "You can't bring that thing in here." He says, "Why not? There's a lot of them in Africa."
Yeah.
You ever hear what happens when you see a black person running through a cornfield with half their head blown off? Man, you stop laughing and reload.
Yeah. So a Muslim, a socialist, and a communist walk into a bar. Bartender says, "Hello, President Obama."
Bro, I'm about to say there's plenty of them here.
Did you hear about the priest?
Dude, I can get really dark, John.
Okay, this is a dark joke. Did you hear about the priest who walks into the forest, dark forest, with a child in his hands, and the child says, "I'm afraid," and the priest says, "You're afraid. I gotta come out of here alone."
Yeah. What is it?
Yeah. What do you call a Catholic or Iraqi?
Why?
A shite Muslim.
A shite Muslim. Why do you call a Catholic a
Like,
Rocky?
he's like a Shiite Muslim.
Yeah. What do you? It's like, do you want to know how I got out of Iraq? Iran.
Hey, how do you stop a nigger from going out?
The Velcro on the
I'm
ceiling?
not sure if I should answer that.
No, you pour more gasoline on it, dude.
Oh gosh, that's horrible. What were they missing at the Million Man March?
Listening.
An auctioneer and $1 million shekels.
Yeah.
Dude, I was in a room like last night, and these motherfuckers were coming at me like at my neck because the way I look, right? And like, you know, dude, and they were like, I'm like, bro, you're just fucking like something I throw in the barn and call antique farm equipment. I got a harvester to get the fuck gotten on the field now. You ain't shit. You better fucking learn how to mix food.
Have you ever
Hey,
contemplated?
bro, they get mad at me, dude. I'm an asshole.
Have you ever used your imagination and actually thought what it would be like to actually have slaves and to like manage them, to live with them?
Oh, Jesus, Lord, Mary, Joseph, I'd have the best plantation this side of Sunday.
Kind of horrible because it's like you could actually live peacefully and enjoy with slaves, but at the same time,
Dude,
the biggest thing is like there's no generational transfer for them. They have no rights, but if you're a nice person to them and you give them respect and you appreciate them, they're gonna give you respect and appreciate you. So it's like, I mean, it's almost like having a biological
John,
computer or a
Can I
robot.
tell you one of my policies that I ran on when it came to reparations?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, when I ran for Congress down here in Georgia,
Mhm.
I came to the realization when it comes to reparations, like if we just give people money, like you're literally adding to the deficit and you're stealing from your children and your grandchildren. But I offered the idea that if you can make it where, you know, a matter of reparations, that if you buy a home and there'll be, if you qualify, you know, under whatever rubric that defines, you know, how they figure out who qualifies. I'm just saying by whatever rubric.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, you know, once you figure out that these people qualify, there's a special federal loan for these people for mortgages so they can buy homes. And then they get like 0 or like not 0% interest, but maybe like 1 or 2% interest, but they don't have to pay real estate tax for 30 years. And if they die, it's transferable to their family. So it ends up being generational wealth without having coming out of their pockets in the future. You know what I mean?
You know,
Maybe I sound dumb, but to me it made fucking sense. Because, you know, I came up with that in one of my dreams. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to take money from the future. I'm trying to figure out how to figure it out from the past. You know what I mean?
No, there's no future. There's no
This
past.
is my mess. I better figure out how to clean it up. trying to be dumb about things, but like seriously, I would on Clubhouse when I'd say that to people like at Backout House, like, you know, 2 years ago, like, you know, when I was running for Congress, like
So do you think
it was 3 years ago now.
Do you think the meaning of life is life or death or life and death?
The acceptance of your own mortality.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I just want to say, like, even though I'm not.
Well, that's why I always say don't take life so seriously. You're never gonna get a life alive, Necro.
Well, I just wanted to say that, like, to me, there's just not a lot of movements I can actively participate in these days. Sadly, I mean, like that. I would have the last one I would have actively participated in would have been Occupy Wall Street.
Oh, fuck that motherfucker.
That's what you would have wanted to participate in?
Yeah.
Dude, you know how much money I made off that motherfucker?
So, Necro, do you think we're living in an illusion because it's technically like a banking industrial complex?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we live in a techno-feudalist serfdom.
Yeah, it's global though, right?
You think I'm a serf?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, so are you telling me I can't go from state to state without your approval?
Not my approval.
Yeah, well then you're not a serf. Because if you were if you were a serf in the UK back in the day as a servant, like, you know, you were told to work in the coal mines. If you didn't want to work in the coal mines anymore, you were 17, you were like, fuck this shit, and you tried to run away, and then you went to another duke's or baron's land, and they found you, then they will actually deport you back to where you came from, and now you go back to the coal mine. And that was literally slavery.
And this is kind of the thing, though, John. That like one of the things I don't understand about MAGA is what they see in like.
Dude, you literally brought up serfdom. Now you're talking about MAGA. How ADD are you?
Because I mean,
how ADD are you?
Because essentially, that one of the things about I don't understand is that essentially the people that Trump like partners with would be Elon Musk, Peter Thiel.
Yeah, but look at the Elon Musk relationship. They had a falling out because Elon is actually a very toxic and obnoxious person who doesn't give respect. But Peter Thiel, on the other hand, he's a lot more soft-spoken than Musk.
Well, yeah, he's Greta Thunberg. He has a fucking PhD in worth of science.
He's also an elite homosexual.
Yeah. I mean, Peter Thiel.
And he also has 12 kids.
Peter Thiel? Peter Thiel is...
Peter Thiel hasn't, like, come out against Trump yet.
Yet? He's fucking... Palantir is making a fortune off of the government. What are you talking about?
Good God.
Yeah, can't forget that he was born in Germany.
Peter Thiel was?
Yes.
Wow. Well, Trump is German too.
The thing is, it was already like a no-brainer for Elon Musk that he wasn't going to support MAGA because the fact that he's a South African making America great again.
Wait, what was your worldview again?
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and I think that Trump and Elon are doing this on purpose.
No, I don't think so.
Well, and that's why it also doesn't surprise
me. Well, prove me wrong.
That's why it also doesn't surprise me.
You're gonna have to wait in order to prove me wrong. You can't do it now.
It doesn't surprise me that, in the feud that they're having, that Trump has more approval than Elon Musk in this feud battle.
Well, the thing is, because of Elon's, people firebombing Tesla, making Tesla's stock drop, because of his Doge, involvement, they made this, hey.
Is more, seen way more of it on this app. That's why it's like viscerally more affecting to me. Like literally just today, I was hearing a bunch of black people tell me how much the Jews are responsible for the slave trade and how fucking and then I mean I've just seen a surprising amount of people who are lying. The other day was telling me Jews do all this organ theft. They like steal people's organs and sell them for money because they're evil. I don't know, it's just kind of crazy. What I've seen on
Those
that.
those were actual articles.
Yeah, I thought they were tunneling under the ground and they were they had interconnected trafficking.
I looked into why the Jews were tunneling in Brooklyn. And
Yeah.
Oh, did you ask them? Did you walk over? Well, I looked into it, and the best I can find is they just wanted to expand their fucking synagogue.
Yeah, they did it without a permit, but the internet went crazy.
Yeah, it seems like that should be the null hypothesis is that if someone's trying to make a space bigger, it's because they want a bigger space. Like, that should be like.
Well, that's kind of weird. By a tunnel underground. Yeah, they're like, we're gonna hold our services partially underground, and that's not gonna be a giveaway to anything.
What, you never built a snow fort when you were a kid?
I think but just to be clear, I think it's awesome. I think it's an awesome idea. Dig underground is great. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, I just want to say, as an African American, ADOS, whatever you say, I don't ascribe to any of that kind of nonsense that some of my brothers and sisters may espouse. I don't think that Jews are responsible for the slave trade. That Jews have a conspiracy to keep down the black man. I don't believe in that. And I didn't hear the initial conversation. I came in on the tail end of it when Sam and I think it was maybe Lonzo, you guys were in that room together.
Yeah.
But I kind of backed out when I heard that it was getting vitriolic. I was like, okay, I'll just let them finish because I didn't want to butt in. But all black people don't believe those things. That's just
listen,
black people.
it is crazy.
Well, like my daddy said right before he killed my mom, one thing done right, you gotta do it yourself.
I just made sure that
He also said,
Ultra fire cervical cervical.
You know it because you are trying to support your
I said it.
I'm not a liar.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying.
Is the marketplace medias. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Go. Andrew, you do know it because you know I'm not a liar, and I said it.
Okay, but Sam, are you? Wait, but Sam, I thought you had I thought you were open on your borders, but I mean, there are a couple people I know that you're like, yeah, okay, they're over the top.
If you support Hitler, what fucking line am I allowed to have? If you think Hitler, if you think the genocide of Jews is fucking, maybe I think that wanting to glorify the guy that's killed. Here's a new policy of the room, guys. If you think that Leopold, Mao, Stalin, Hitler, think those guys are good, fuck you, you don't get to be on my fucking stage.
Sam, he's a Jew.
Full pot.
Wait. He is a Jew.
What about Netanyahu?
Netanyahu just gives me Peter scale. Anyway, look, Sam.
Ooh,
He is a
yeah, Dean. Full pot.
He is a Jew.
Throw this the most.
Okay, Shay is a Jew. Sam.
He's not a Jew. I looked up his name in Jewish registries, and his name is found almost nowhere in Jewish registries of names.
He says he's a Jew based on his last name. It doesn't even make sense. He's like, listen, when Seamus tried to argue that he was Jewish, he didn't say, like, my parents told me I was Jewish. He didn't say, my relatives
same, bruh. Okay, well, real quick, Sam, I mean, if you're not one, look, I think he deserves a fair hearing. I've defended Seamus' right to speak and disagree. I've disagreed with most of what he has said. Hold on, bro. I've disagreed with most of what Seamus has said historically, but as you know, dude, I've fought pretty hard to let people come up and say whatever they, feel like they believe. I really feel like that it's kind of a little bit like we're being kind of unfairly exclusionary if we say Seamus isn't allowed on stage.
Well,
Andrew, why would you give Sam credit when you come live in the room that don't allow Seamus to come up? I talked to you about this and you don't do anything about it. So I think that it's unfair that you're trying to do it.
But Sam's not the. No.
I'll explain.
Okay.
No, but you know that they're in your rooms, Andrew, and you know that you do nothing about it. And I talked about it. And when you know they were, and you tell me, and I say, why don't you listen to them? You say, why don't you talk to whoever?
They're not.
I want to say this.
Okay, so
because I know Seamus is in the audience. I just want to say this to you, Seamus, I think you're an absolute rotten piece of garbage. If you support Hitler, you're a piece of shit. I think violence should descend upon you.
You said you
You're
never
an
supported
absolute
Hitler.
You're literally rotten piece of garbage.
What are you saying? We should at least let him air it out, bro.
Supporting
He
Hitler
just said he doesn't
fucking
support Hitler. He just said that. He just said he doesn't support Hitler. He just said that in the chat.
I never did support Hitler. Oh my god.
Yes.
Fucking,
I mean, he meant I never said I support. He meant to say I never said I support
said it to
Hitler.
me multiple times. Okay, now
All right, well,
I just want to say this to you. Seamus, I think you're a piece of garbage. I think glorifying or enjoying mass murderers makes you a piece of shit. I think you're a scumbag and a fucking hoe. And I think you fucking are just like pissing people off, even though your behaviors cause sadness to people who have family members died in the fucking Holocaust. You're a fucking cum dumpster. I don't fucking like you. I think you think it's funny to support Hitler. It's not funny. You're a dirtbag. I would literally want to fucking throw turds at you if I could.
He also thinks it's funny to talk about cutting up prostitutes and stuffing them in suitcases.
Hold on. Do you mind if I just say my piece real quick? So because Bima just said something that was super bizarre to me. So Bima, instead of taking the chance of defending Seamus, which I thought you guys were cool, I don't understand why you're not defending him. You wanted to attack me and try to point out hypocrisy. And this is the whole thing about, can you spell axe? And then, the thing about scalping.
Yeah, you could bring that up all you want, Andrew. I think that you're dishonest, and I think that if Sam doesn't want somebody to take it as true, because I think that it's things when I think it's you.
And I have
When I talk to you about it,
Sam,
you say, it's not my room. Leave him alone. If he doesn't want to leave him alone,
Okay, so hold on, Bima. Hold on, let me say something real quick. Sam, I think you should probably be right here. Since you've been on the app, dude, I've been extremely charitable towards you, Sam, since you've been on the app, and you've come in, you've wanted people removed like Cynic, and there's been times where I've indulged you, or Toast. There's been times where I've indulged you. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's happened. You've come in the room, you've asked for certain standards to be set.
The Andrew show,
talk, and I tried to lay down the law and say, hey, don't do that, let him finish. There's been multiple times that I've come to your defense to try to be fair to you. I think I've been fair to you since the beginning of our relationship on Clubhouse. Now, what people are saying here is just flatly false. I never said that it's my room. It's never
Andrew is a
been my room.
narcissist
Since I
and
first started the
pathetic.
room of God Talk House, it was with Rob, and we divided up the authority. That's from the very beginning. And just to be clear, Bima, I did go to bat for Seamus. And you can just ask Timothy, him and I both, behind the scenes, were spending quite a bit of time with Rob trying to get him to allow Seamus to be on stage. So it's not the case that I haven't done anything about it. We did go to bat for him.
Jesus
and I think I deserve the right to sit here and at least petition Sam to address my concerns and at least give Seamus a chance. At least I would like to voice that I would like Seamus to have a chance. If he doesn't want to do it, of course.
Why?
I can't force him to do
about
anything.
Jesus again. Why is he so angry?
But I think it's only right, considering the fact it's only right that he listens to me, because I think I've been fair to you. You don't have to, Sam.
Whatever your last name is.
So I think, Bima, you're just taking this weird, shot at me, thinking I'm being dishonest.
Thank you.
Ridiculous. I just want
And I am proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring Seamus up right now, and I'm gonna expect you if I ask you to move someone else
Such
down
an
in the future that you
intelligent
will oblige me.
woman.
Yeah, dude, I've been fair to you.
I asked you to move what's her name? What's her name? Guava that I didn't want to. So
Guava is a tough. It's how about this? How about this?
Now I have an expectation.
Whatever your last
I
name
got you.
is.
I got you. How about this? Let's make it super cool. If
Thank
Samuels
you.
gets out of
I
control,
am proud of you for being such an intelligent
No,
man.
the fairness is
And
in one of
great
your
for
rooms.
the
If I have
rest
to,
of
yeah, but then also the same thing is if that person or if you ask me to bring somebody up for, let's say, and the person is like, I'm opposed to it or some problem. If I bring them up and they're crazy, then obviously you give me the right to say, okay, there's a guy. Right. Okay, cool. That's fine.
Cora at PTR full of no
I'm Jewish, by the way, but look, I want to defend myself here. First of all, I just want to say that, Sam, you're a cucked out little fucking crybaby, and you couldn't beat me in an arm wrestling match if your fucking life depended on it. Next thing I want to say is I never said I fucking supported Hitler. I never said, like, I supported Hitler and everything he does. Let's just round up all the Jews and mass murder them. I never said any of that. What I said was Hitler has gotten a very bad rap. You know, Hitler actually was a great man and did a lot of great things. And I didn't say I supported everything the motherfucker ever did. So that's a lie. That's a Jewish liar straight out of Sam's mouth. Never said it, okay? And so, wait, it's a shame. Okay, he's a great man.
Let's go, Sam. Sam, remember that. We'll do it in the future. I need to go. But,
I love you, man.
Shut up, we're talking together. And I appreciate
Have a good night, man.
you teaching me some stuff, so we're talking to you.
Ben's super cool, dude. Ben, love you, bro. Come back soon, man. Have a good night, buddy.
I think it was in 1932 that Hitler was pronounced Time Magazine Man of the Year. Go ahead and look that up. So, cover of Time Magazine was pronounced Man of the Year. Hitler basically came out of World War I, where they had stolen all of Germany's gold. They had upended German economy completely. There was like rampant sexual immorality. There was all types of like really heinous things. Like if you think, like this is like a common theme when you have like economies that are really terrible relative to other economies that can come in and just expropriate like a ton of value. Like look at Vietnam and Thailand and stuff. If you think Vietnam and Thailand in modernity are like modern dens of sexual immorality, you should have looked at Germany in the 1930s. There was, open air, prostitution, bestiality, like all types of like incest, just you name it.
Made me fall in
This is the
love.
type of stuff that you expect when people are, have nothing else.
You just made me fall in love.
At post-World War I Germany, where they had stolen.
Oh, I had no idea.
Disrupted
How
their
beautiful
entire
you are.
economy, and there was all of this like heinous stuff going around. There was like massive liberal transgender homosexual.
I had no idea how beautiful and intelligent you are.
And Hitler stepped in, and within a few short years, Germany had one of the strongest economies. He had stopped all the sexual immorality. He had basically created an economic zone that was unheard of. Like they had basically, you can look this up. Hitler created.
This is a good arm wrestler? I doubt it.
Man at 0% interest because
Cora,
they didn't.
PTR full of
Fuck
nobody.
you, Shamus. Just fucking hate you. Fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear your
I would like to say
that line of argument
that Hitler don't
is so flawed, man. That line of argumentation is so flawed. I don't mean to butt in here. I know I'm kind of new to the room, but to sit there and say that he did great things,
Stupid and
I think
crazy.
is such misrepresentation of history. I think it is indicative of anti-Semitism afoot in the United States, akin to the way it was back in the 30s and 20s when eugenicists were afoot and everything like
Well,
that.
it's stupid and
And that is
crazy, but
wrong,
you do the
man.
same shit on
It's up to
Clubhouse
you,
on
Sam,
YouTube.
whether you want to have him on your stage or not. But I think everything he just said was deplorable.
Well, he's literally defending Hitler. He's literally defending Hitler, guys. When he said Hitler was a good man, I wonder, does he mean, does he not accept the numbers? Does he not accept the official numbers?
Can a Jew be anti-Semitic?
Yes, he does also question the numbers.
Can a Jewish person be anti-Semitic?
Yes, he can.
Just like a black man can be anti-black. You guys say it all the time on here.
Yeah.
Well, they can be racist towards black people.
Wait, black people can't be racist. I hear black people say that all the time.
Interesting that the room was called Black Hatred, and we
not even Jewish. No, he's not Jewish. And he literally just says, "Oh my God, Hitler was a great man. He's so cool." Yeah, fuck you, man. He's one of the literally top 5 worst people in history. He's a fucking monster. It's not cool to be like, "Oh my God, what about the good?"
Yeah, I don't know why he said that. Yeah, I don't know why he said that.
What happens? You go out on the limb, you take a risk, and now you got to take it on the other side too.
I hear you.
Israeli investment banker.
Is who an investment banker?
Shamos? Oh, I don't know. I don't know these things really well.
He's also a world-class arm wrestler.
Bima, are you, do you not want to say anything in defense of Shamos or what? Where are you at with Shamos?
Why do you keep invoking me? Like, can I just ask, like, what is up with
Because
that?
I want to know, because you've been defending him as
I'm
last.
pretty sure that you talk to Shamos enough. You know exactly, like, there's no reason to mention me at all.
Are you against him? I mean, I just want to know what the status is. Are you not talking to him at all? Do you think he's a POS? I mean, do you agree with all the negative stuff he said? Do you think the negative stuff said about him is true? I mean, where are you at?
And what is with your sudden fixation on Sheamus?
Fixation on him. I've always been an advocate of Shamos, except for a short period of time where he went a little over the top, and I thought, well, there's nothing I can really do about it.
He was a great man.
It's because Andrew thinks that Israel's committing a genocide, and he secretly doesn't like the Jews who killed his Lord and Savior.
It's just interesting how Sam said anti-Semitism, and then this was delivered at our doorstep.
Yeah, I mean, I told you that Shamos is the one guy in this app who's a literal Nazi that I've had to deal with. So, but
comparatively,
need to hear him out.
Well, yeah, because I think people should be heard out rather than silenced.
Andrew,
But I think that
Andrew, I felt Sam asked a good question before. What line do you feel he's allowed to draw?
Oh, I don't have that line. I mean, if he wants the line, that's fine. Yeah, I don't have that line.
Supporting Hitler, can he do that?
No, look. I think the way to deal with Shamos instead of emboldening is, so look, whatever's going on there. Say he comes up and he's like, "Hey, I think Hitler's great." And you're like, "Oh, fish you POS." Okay, cool. I think that idea is a terrible idea. He should not be saying that. Okay, just to be clear. But I don't think the best way to deal with it is necessarily just to kick somebody out. I don't think that's my personal view. You, Sam, you can do whatever you want. That's fine. I don't think the way to deal with ideas like that is to kick them out. Oftentimes, what that does,
maybe
historically,
if more Christians throughout time had thrown out people with ideas like that, we wouldn't have had the fucking Holocaust.
No, then they just team up and be emboldened. They just get upset. Look, the only thing is like he's gonna think, oh.
They get upset. They sound pretty upset, Andrew.
I don't know, John.
I think you guys are giving him a white pass. I mean, look at how you're defending this anti-Semitism.
Yeah, it's pretty despicable, Andrew. You're Christian?
John, your voice.
You're Christian?
Drop the voice. Thank you. Praise God. Yeah, I don't know, Sam. It's fine, buddy. Whatever you want to do. I think that you're very much against the cancel culture, just like we talked earlier. You know, that thing that Timothy was going on about with Roivas? Right? That was a big deal, right? And I think that you don't know where Shamos is trolling, where he's not. I don't know what's going on. I'm a little confused about the alliances that's been formed against him, and I don't know what's going on. Not with you.
Oh, I don't think he's the funny edgelord, but he's also a Nazi piece of shit.
Well, is he though? I mean, I don't know how you make an inference that has any really grounding if somebody is so all over the map. I mean, he says he's a Jew. You're saying he's not. He said that Hitler's good, but then before he said, you know, he loves the Jews. He's pro-Jew. He said Bima changed him. He's a different man. He's not racist anymore. Then he was racist before that. I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff's happened. So I don't know what his actual commitments are. So I don't really think getting too up in arms about it, like he actually is a racist, is necessarily the best inference. But that's fine. I mean, if you want to do that, it's totally cool. I'm just saying, like,
as an artist, I want to criticize him as an artist. Listen, there is an art form to troll, and the art of the troll is to be like kind of on the line, knowing where the line is, stepping over it, knowing what to push people's buttons, but not to be so much like. If you just say, "I love Hitler," "I love murder," "I love raping children," like that stuff is not you being a clever troll. That's just you being a piece of shit, or you're saying horrible shit. Whereas the way to troll is to be like, oh, I like Islam is right about women, you know. So because then the liberals have to be like admit that Islam is bad about women, or say like, oh, black, you know, only black people can be racist. Like saying something like pisses people off, but it's not so over the line as to be like
the sort of thing
Andrew
that
platforms hate speech.
It's to mess with people. It's to
Andrew
be,
platforms
to
hate
stir the
speech
pot,
and doesn't
to be
want
a sort of
supremacists
agent of
to get
chaos.
angry.
That is what the
That's
sort
what
of
he
art of
just
the
said.
troll is. And you are failing. Shamos, you have the potential to be a very talented troll, to be a very funny person that does this sort of stuff. But when you do this thing where you just fucking say you're a Nazi, fucking Hitler, you fucking ruin the art form. You're like desecrating the thing that you could be good at, the archetype of the trickster. You could be that, and you're deciding not to be.
But he has arguments, though.
It's stupid and crazy, but he has the same thing from the
I guarantee you he's going to argue.
Yeah,
Right now.
to hear the argument that how
We heard from him.
better
He's a great man.
economic recovery.
He made
is
the-
I'm sure that's what we need to study.
Listen, the thing is, and Sam can attest to this, Nick Bostrom, which is one of Sam's intellectual heroes, and fast becoming one of mine, would advocate for, basically entertaining the uncomfortable truths. And ultimately, if that...
A magistrate, they're basically saying, hey, we think you are a threat to the United States, we're getting you out of here. And it's supposed to be for illegal immigrants. But the point is that some of these are not illegal immigrants for what it was worth, and they should have the opportunity to prove that up with a magistrate or a judge. And the thing that I get held up in court was Trump's use of that Alien Enemies Act, which was in place for a particular thing, similar to like if you declare someone a terrorist, right?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that the women are big ass don't mean nothing. You're proportional. If you're a small hourglass figure, it gives an illusion like your ass is protruding. I don't know, and that's natural. You can get that for free.
What was that Greek lady, Alonzo and Hope, the one that got the lie that said she got hit in the head?
Yeah, I think she was from Somali.
There you go. And I pointed out to Sam that he's against the cancel culture, just like what you were espousing earlier with Roy Voss. He wasn't quite on board with that, and the whole point is,
No, but that's because Sam agrees with abusing women.
So when it comes, I'm very of a wide Overton window. That's why I was debate.
You're not using that expression right.
Yeah,
you're not using that. Sam, you're not using that expression right, bro. Yeah, you're not using that.
I don't know if you heard this the other day, but I was giving you props. I was saying, I said
Andrew's head hasn't moved in years since he got plugged at a party.
Whenever you say you remember something happening,
Why did Andrew?
I do appreciate that, bro.
Why did Andrew get punched in the head?
Whenever Sully criticizes someone, uses their word, he's always wrong. Whenever
Bob on I agree with you on that.
No, Andrew, don't let get
punched in the head at a
well,
party.
I know. Here's the thing. Sully calling out terms. He has been wrong on that a bit. He was wrong on the Overton window. I think he was wrong on that. I will say that I think Sam's assessment of Bob not being very good at his troll detector's broken. I think that's true. Either he's using it, he's equivocating there, or he's being very loose with the term troll. But if there's any semblance of holding to the traditional usage of troll, Bob is not very good. Bob is good in many areas. He's got many strong suits. But I don't think his interpretation or assessing or perceiving is a troll.
One of the really strong, he's really good at that. It's like kind of uncanny.
I agree.
One
of our intellectual heroes, namely Scott Alexander, he's like famed for him entertaining the kind of like dark enlightenment
no matter what room Andrew goes to, he speaks like the authority or the moral code of Christian Joe.
That's him dealing with the uncomfortable truths. And to be
Sam, if somebody came up here and just said, I love Hitler and I want to give you the argument for it, let's have timed responses. Are you saying you wouldn't do that? Are you saying you wouldn't do that?
Just like I said, that there's the
No, and if it's not a joke, the guy's serious.
Just like I always said, there's the artistic mysticism. I understand. There's also the artistic edgelord. Okay.
No, but it's somebody who's serious, somebody who's dead serious that really believes it.
He's no longer edgy. He's doing it.
Stephen Kirshner is a guy who defends the most heinous shit, but he does it in a really clever way, and he finds just exactly the exact thing that is defensible, but is really controversial. That he's really good at it.
But just saying you like Hitler is not like an interesting, defensible.
Well, he wasn't. He did. That's not all he said. He said
he talked about the economy in the 19th.
He said Hitler helped the economy. He said Hitler took a bunch of degenerates who were having sex with pigs in broad daylight. He took all of them and basically cleaned up their act, sexual degeneracy, and
It's not interesting to argue with a flat earther because they're just retarded, or something to argue.
No, it is kind of. Wow, come on.
Okay, this is
also said that
Canceling, bro.
This is a space for resident intellectual integrity. It seems under intellectual integrity.
Yeah, because Sam, you argue with Muslims all day long. What do you mean flat earthers?
Punched in the head.
Yeah, exactly. No, flat earther and maybe that's like an operation. This room is that there's an overwhelming amount of evidence to disprove a flat earther. The fundamental Islamists, at least here in the West, we haven't confronted those ideas enough to really vanquish them. Yeah, and it's the same as the kind of the paradigm anti-Semite. Right now, they just aren't good. All good arguments on the table. You know. Well, it becomes up to the interlocutor himself or herself to decide if he's running a room, if he wants to do that or not in this moment. And a flat earther, I mean, that's been so. I just feel like
the difference between an Islamic fundamentalist and a flat earther is that Sam is able to debate the Islamic fundamentalist.
Yeah, exactly. The last time, because we might not, it didn't end too well for him. Well, I believe that we already have arguments in place to debunk the Islam.
So far out.
The point is that Clubhouse, that might not be as readily available. And so if he wants to fashion a room where he can do that, then that's his prerogative. Andrew, don't you miss the old Sam? When he said no interruptions, he meant no interruptions. And when he said he was actually intellectually curious, he meant it. Didn't you miss that guy?
I do miss this.
Oh,
the days of
what a
Sam.
guy.
Yeah, but he's been on Clubhouse too long. Now he's just designing.
He's been corrupted.
I will say
it happens to the best of us, Bob.
No.
Guys, here, I'll do the Shamos that. Well, here's what Shamos should be. Here's the best. Okay. Hey guys, what Hitler did in the Holocaust was fucking evil, and him invading Poland was evil. But if we just stuck to his economic policies and his policies for anti-degeneracy,
he did a lot of good.
We can look at how he helped, rein in the banks and how he got people making better art that was more for the grandeur and the nationalistic benefit, and that people were getting healthy, and the Hitler Youth was really motivating people to be involved with the country and rejuvenating the country. So yeah. I wish that I'm like a hipster with Hitler. I just wish, I wish we still had Hitler. Are you saying pre-Holocaust, pre-Poland with mind switching? The one that wanted to have a strong nationalism project in Germany. Right, yeah, that should be saying.
You're not being it's the equivalent of saying this is a shameless position. I like it. I'm not saying that you do sometimes, for instance, I denounce the state of Israel for all of the crimes they've committed against the civilian population, Gaza, and the West Bank. However, anti-Semitism is Jews do the same thing. If someone began, outlining their position like that, we were like, yeah, it's a great reason. And it was maybe July, we shouldn't take them seriously. We should accept them. Samuel? Yeah. Samuel? Yeah, no. So they have to start with the disavowing, or they don't have to start with the disavowing?
They have to start with, there's certain classes of things that involve millions of deaths, that involve pure destruction of just hatred and death and blood. What Israel's doing in Gaza, you can say it is immoral, but it is not something where they go, oh, I just want to kill every Gaza. They were literally slaughtered in large numbers and then they retaliated, which is not exactly, kind. It's also not the sort of thing where
we're talking about the whole project, and the whole kind of Zionist colonialist project. If somebody says, "Hey, look, I condemn just this kind of colonialism and the way it's been sort of the way this warfare has been prosecuted against this particular group of people, right? It's like if they started like that, then like what, we should basically just discount everything they're saying and disregard it.
I don't even know how you can allow this argument to gain ground.
It seems like what's fuck you. It seems like what's sorry, that's not telling you. It seems like what's happening here is like he disagrees that it's unjustified. Presumably, if he's a supporter of Hitler, I doubt he's going to lead with yeah. I think it was like just it's completely genocidal and unwarranted and irrational and bigoted. He's going to say there's a justification for all of what these perceived crimes committed against. Just because I agree there are crimes, of course, but crimes against Jewish people. In the same way, you disagree that all of the crimes that Israel committing are without warrant, right? So it seems like if he's going to give reasons for why it's justified, by your own reasoning, and given that you place such a great premium on like curiosity and inquisitiveness and stuff, you should allow him to speak. What do you say about your standard? I mean, I personally, maybe I wouldn't let him speak, but I don't know. Seems like you should.
Yeah. So I'm all about being curious. I'm all about like finding stuff out. But here's one of the things I'm interested in finding out. Here's debate. Hey guys, should we all eat turds for dinner? We can debate that. That might be an interesting discussion to talk about. Hey guys, do we all take forks, shove them in our corneas right now? Should we not debate that? Is that not an interesting debate? Oh, hey guys, I was thinking about, here's what I was thinking about doing. I was thinking about taking a fucking chainsaw and just fucking shoving it, cutting my arms off, and then once I cut my arms off, like just taking all my blood and just like, rubbing it all over New York City and painting it down red. These are dumb things to debate. What else is dumb to debate? Oh, was Hitler a fucking, should we support Hitler? Was he a good guy?
No, it's about who's debating it on both sides of the debate. What group is looking toward the dignity of humanity, and what group is trying to subject humanity to one man or one group's nonsense? And so when you put it in those terms, it's very clear and very easy to see.
I just say
that Hitler is not looking at the dignity of humanity.
Right.
If he's going to carve out his tribe and say that the other tribe has no dignity, so they should be killed, but his tribe should thrive. I mean, come on. Like, this is very basic, elementary understanding of humanity.
Hey, Sway. You don't have the answers, okay? You know who has the answers?
Sure, you're not reckoning with your friend
with argument. That's all they are.
And this is exactly what you guys do. When you hear an argument that contends
No, thank you.
You want to dismiss it. But it has been
thank you. Alright, thanks. No, thank you. So, Sam, in the same way, wanted to say that, black people, it's basically, all of the kind of issues that befall black people are kind of their own fault, because they're, inherently kind of inferior. We wanted to give him the space, because it was this is a space that values freedom of speech, and freedom of expression. And also, if people are prepared to support, their conclusions with argumentation, then, we welcome that. In fact, we encourage that, right? Regardless of how controversial their opinions are. And it just seems like, Shamar should be afforded the same space as Lee, even if those are the principles we seek to endorse. It doesn't seem like a consistent Sammy. Yeah, I miss that guy. I miss the Sammy that was friends with Lee.
Yeah. It totally makes sense to not distinguish between people who advocate the murder of millions and people who just, have empirical hypotheses about human psychology. We shouldn't distinguish, those two kinds of people. Basically, here's what I think. If you support Hitler, you're just advocating violence, and I want you to be literally arrested. You're just a violence advocator, and you're just a fisher.
No, but come on, Sam, that's not fair. Because if you take the support of Hitler in conjunction with the denial of the Holocaust, then technically they're not actually advocating for the murder of millions, right? In fact, they may be advocating for the murder of tens, scores, maybe, but that's okay. That's not that bad, is it? It's thousands of Arabs and stuff. That's okay. So the issue is 6 million. But if someone's denying 6 million, if they're denying that number, And presumably they have reason to believe it, like more than just like back of the envelope calculations. So we should hear them out. In the same way, if someone thinks like black people are inherently inferior, almost like deserving of their mistreatment,
But yeah,
deserving of whatever
he
kind
is
of
here
colonial oppression they face. Yeah,
80
reasons
hours
to
a
believe
week.
it. Like we should listen to them, no?
Yeah.
Especially if
Does
like
he have a career?
allies and shit.
Let me
We should just
just like we should give voice to Seamus in his explanation for the non-anti-Semitic attacks effects of like Nazism on Germany. We should also like give voice to like a nice Southerner that believes that slavery never should have ended. They shouldn't have been emancipated. And
yeah, I mean, we listened to Seamus.
He is so well educated and so smart, truly brilliant man. And yet he is here 80 hours a week.
It was just like
Does he have a career?
spamming and saying shit about like how
Hero,
killers are making
real
racist and all
world,
this kind of shit.
zero.
Right? Like, that wasn't like too egregious. It's fine if you just want to say it's purely discretionary and yeah, I'm kind of biased and it's like because it's like targeting Jewish people. Yeah. That's fine. Actually, I'm cool with that. It's just like that's not the sound I remember. You know, that's not my sound. You know that?
It was okay to say the N-word.
that gets into big or young.
With May, and he hates the genocide.
Why can't Sam evolve?
Oh yeah.
My Sam agrees with May, and he hates the genocide.
I was like, oh, do you have hate violence? Then when I asked about fucking
Right, babe?
Pepe or whatever his name is, he was calling people the N-word. You know what I did? I moved him down. I hope you did. You know what? I don't like racial slurs, and I don't like people advocating violence.
Also, his voice is really annoying.
If you want to make sure that Jews, you know, had a disproportionate influence on the German fucking banking institutions, we can
True agreement. But yeah, here he is here 80 hours a week.
When you're making claims
Does he have a career?
violence.
Got it.
Oh, I don't
Zero.
Well, then I got a problem with you. So, Mike, here's
Like, Pepe is actually an upgrade.
empirical claims about the world. It doesn't extend to violence and fucking humiliation, because those aren't fucking facts to be curious about. Those are social things, dude.
Pepe is or was a neo-Nazi. He hates Jews.
Also, who are... Yeah, the Sammy I know would never talk to me like that. Yeah, well, him and the I know wouldn't fucking advocate for us a Hitler apologist on stage. Yeah. Also, bro, how could you not mention Tony when you were talking about black people who are sympathetic to the Jewish plight? Tali is a fucking... That's crazy, bro. She's an angel. She's beautiful. But how could you not think of her, bro? That's insane. I can't believe you. Dude, Tali is a wonderful gal. She's got, you know, lots of wonderful beliefs, and, you know, I like her a lot. Sweet baby Tali. Yeah. She's not quite not quite the conscience of Sam's house that Zeleny is, but she certainly is a very welcome addition every time she comes. The thing is, I actually agree with you. Like, I do think that's kind of uninteresting. In the same way, I think, like, the lead guy was super uninteresting. The thing is that, like, Nick Bostrom isn't my intellectual hero, do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just, like, kind of a regular, like, I don't like the form like you used to. You know, the old sound. Like, I don't value inquisitiveness as much as the old sound did. And the brave, you know, the brave sound. Remember the brave? Remember the guy, the brave one?
Maybe he got less curious after he learned.
Yeah,
I know what you're up against. You're up against social media cynicism, man, and it's all around. Keep doing your job, man. If you have to evolve your points, if you have to think about maybe things you've said in the past and figure out where they were wrong, that's okay. Do not allow social media to make you a cynic. Everyone's a cynic on the app.
Say that I love you, honor you.
Yeah.
Enjoy your
What they will do is they will scroll you. They'll play little clips like that. They'll do that sort of thing. They'll do all of that because they're cynical.
Sounds a professional stuff. He took a Muslim survey that was Michelin.
Which direction to go in. And they're just being cynics.
No, they tried to
rampant on the app. It's rampant on the app. So just be careful. I support you in your cause, and I believe that anti-Semitism is afoot on this app, and you guys are thinking you're trolling, but you're just playing little games. You cannot beat logic.
Gildaz, are you an atheist?
You two together, nobody else. You two by yourselves, go find a nice quiet place where you can be alone.
Yep, all of that. That's not an argument. That's finding a link to support what you think you feel. But that's not an argument. That's not a logical, explained argument. That's just you playing with the computer. And this is what you guys are doing. And it's getting serious and more serious. And you'll tilt this country into something stupid by playing that way over and over. Stop being cynical.
No, I wanted to know what
we can debate, but
yeah, what happened? What's the point? I want to actually know the point.
I made my point. If you couldn't understand the point,
I went here.
You were right there.
Just real quick. Gildas, are you an atheist?
I've said that many times on the app, and I don't know why that might be a surprise to anyone here.
No, please be a theist. We don't want that. Does that mean you believe that? Hold on, real quick. Gildas, do you believe that there is a God or not?
I don't necessarily think to myself that no, I don't believe there's a God.
There you go, Timothy. He's on your side, but
No. He could be like a polytheist.
claim it, bro. No, he believes there is a God and more.
Yeah, well, whether there is a God or there are multiple gods, that doesn't give you free license to just be cynical. If there is a God, why aren't you optimistic?
Well, I don't know. It could be like I don't think there's a God. I think there's the God. You know,
whether there is a deity that you believe in.
Right, he seems to be saying theism is irrelevant to his point of don't be a cynic, be a good person.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Everyone could be a good person.
Jesus wasn't trolling. Why would you?
Yeah, by the way, there's something really funny. There's this thing that people do in the sometimes they try to like be casual in their dismissal of you. So there's one guy, Alonzo, I was talking to, who was like a 7.
It's been online for 16 hours.
Then what I just kept saying to him is like,
I'm exhausted.
I was, yeah, I've got you. I was just like,
I
got you. And it was like a really fun way to just like, no, I've got you, dude. No, I've got you, dude. Dude, I've got you. It was just like a really fun way to just.
Yeah, I got you too, man. Yeah, that's nice.
And they're being cynical because they don't know how to think. They don't know how to use their minds. Their strategy is to dismiss.
Is this English guy?
Lonzo is a racist, piece of shit turd.
Want to call me a
is this kid an Israelite?
I can't be a
piece of shit.
No, you're not you, man. I'm not.
Every time I see it, it's a rat.
I said the English guy.
No, I'm not Israelite, no.
What's up with the? I want to know what's up with the Hebrew man, dude.
Every time I see
No, what's up with the Hebrew man, dude? What Hebrew?
So what it does. And what's Gladius talking about?
Yeah.
What's he? I don't know what's.
The room. So what's going on in the room is we were talking about the relationship between black anti-Semitism, Jewish, like how much Jews have done malfeasance in history to warrant anti-Semitism. Who deserves more? Who does more anti-Semitism? The whites, or the black. And then we were talking about there's a guy who wanted to come on stage who's like Hitler, and then him who was mean, have Hitler supporters on the stage, and then Gildas was kind of taking, yeah, Sam, it's awesome that you like don't give in to cynicism, anti-Semitism bad, and there's a lot of nice stuff, and then that's where you're going.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I don't know people still support Hitler, man.
Yeah, it is.
Are you in Israel, Torah Jew?
Nah, I'm in the UK. One day I'll be going back to Israel though.
Inshallah.
I don't know about that.
You're in Jerusalem.
That's the worst.
Man, look how they're judging you on your skin color. It's crazy.
Yeah.
As soon as you got in here, they asked you if you were a black Hebrew Israel, BHI. It's crazy.
I don't think that's because of my skin color though.
Yeah, that's literally that's why I asked you literally because of your skin color. Just
mad.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I feel like there's a strong correlation between
that's
black
crazy,
selfie,
man.
black selfie
Down,
PTR,
down with people out
Hebrew
there.
character for a name, man.
I just think there's an inference to be had.
Snap. So that's what
Your mic is so low. We can't hear you.
people actually think that. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you a BHI?
I'm sorry if I offended you, bro.
Nah, you're good, man. I thought it was because of the Hebrew letters, you know.
Oh yeah, no, obviously because it's not just because you're black. I'm saying the combination of the two. Like, I'm just looking at black people saying, "Oh, you're Hebrew."
I got you still. I got you. Go ahead,
Tabo, what you doing? Are you okay? Andrew, we can't hear you.
It's still low, bro.
Tabo, you there, brother? Dropping. I'm dropping.
No, you should have said, hey, when the guy said, I got you, you should know what you gonna do with me. Like him to say,
Yeah, I heard somebody call travel.
Yeah, what's up? Are you part of the BHI community?
I don't know what the BHI is, cuz.
Are you an Israelite? Are you an Israelite? That's what he's asking.
Yes, I'm an Israelite. I'm not a BHI. I don't know what that is.
A black
Hold on. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're just playing down right now and saying you don't know what that means. You
Black
do know what that means.
Israelite is a byword.
Oh, so you know what? Okay, well then don't. Hold on.
We don't call you white Jewish Amalek.
Okay, but is it better? But here's the thing. Please don't be dishonest, brother, and say. Please don't be dishonest,
Hey,
and
Andrew.
say you don't know.
Yeah,
Please don't
let's calm down, brother. I know you guys are the evil twin.
like to be
Yeah,
part
chill out,
of
I'm
The brotherhood has been broken.
No, listen. You're just being dishonest to say that you don't know what BHI means. You're just.
I said, even still.
Hey,
Now what's next, Andrew?
Travel. Do you know who the chief rabbi of the African American community is?
No, I don't know who the chief rabbi is. Do you know?
Yeah, his name is Avraham Ben Mordecai. You should look him up, man. He can.
Why should I look him up? Tell me.
Because he can convert you. You know, if you
Convert me to what?
I mean, if you no, not BHI. But
I would be an Israelite being converted to BHI. Is that what
you
we're
wanna,
saying?
You'd be a black Hebrew.
You'd be a black African Nazi.
Okay. As opposed to the white Hebrew.
Correct.
I mean, do you actually the word?
There's no such thing as white Hebrew Israelites. And
First of all, that is 100% wrong.
Hey, listen, Ashka. Okay?
Well,
you guys need to stop getting victims. You're not victims. You guys own the whole world. You guys are profiteers in everything that's horrible in the country.
Do you like?
So please,
Sounds like some big grin on his face.
stop playing victim.
That's the point, Timothy. We don't even have to try. We're not playing the victim. I'm not playing the victim. You're the one that says you're cursed.
Do you like us Australian Jews? Do you think do you wish us well?
Just a point of just letting you guys know. I'm here to chase the demons. I'm here to chase the demons out of y'all. That's all. I'm here to
Hey, you're cursing the city in the field, right?
No, listen. As a nation, there are curses on my people, but that's okay.
Man.
It's okay.
Can you move farther away from the microphone,
You
please?
guys don't have any understanding.
Can you move farther away from the microphone?
No, I just got a big mic, brother.
Hey, Travis, quick question. Like us Australian Jews, like do you think do you like us and think we're doing okay?
No, brother. He believes the Bible is telling everyone that they are Israelites. You're not an Israelite. Ashkenazis are not Israelites. Sephardic Jews are not Israelites.
Wish us well.
It's crazy, man.
You guys are Israelites. You're like convert. Yeah, you guys keep the commandments. That's perfectly fine.
No.
What you've done is stole.
I'm going to mute the room until this fucking guy answers the question. Do you like Ashkenazi Jews and do you wish us well? No one
For
wants
the
to
fight
on the microphone.
Ashkenazi Jews, I like everybody on your.
You like everybody? You like Ashkenazi Jews?
Does that help your answer? I even like the Ashkenazi Hitler. I like everybody. Does that help?
I'm an Edomite. Do you like me?
I like everybody. I live peacefully with everyone. Now let's ask this question. Does the Most High like you?
Yes.
Does the Most High,
yeah.
the Creator of heaven and earth,
Well, if you're cursed,
does He like you?
I like you.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter.
If you're cursed, does God
It
like
does not
you?
matter if I like you.
Yeah.
What matters is if, AKA or quote unquote God, if the Most High God likes you, do you think He likes you?
He loves us.
Okay.
This room is
No problem.
This room is we love the Jews. So
What's your next question?
what's allowed to be said in this room is just positive stuff about Ashkenazi Jews.
Do you think he's mad that they made the Torah?
So if you have nothing nice to say about the Ashkenazi Sephardic or Mizrahi Jews,
I literally just said something nice, little Sandy. Come on.
so
I said I like everybody.
The rules of the room is this is a
Hey,
Jew.
hey.
I've done it.
Hey. Don't do that. I just said I liked everybody. Did you not just hear me say that, little Sandy?
Give as your example what you labeled Hitler the Ashkenazi.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to say.
But he is. He's an Ashkenazi Jew.
That's fine. You gave that as your example.
Come on, guys.
You
No.
like everyone.
Wait, why do
You guys have a bunch of
You like
scholars.
everyone.
You guys got a bunch of scholars on this stage.
genocidal
You mean
guy.
to tell me none of
Let's
you know
label him with
that he is an Ashkenazi Jew?
Wait, Hitler's an Ashkenazi Jew?
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. You reject.
Wait. What's your sources?
Okay. Okay. Hey, I just read.
Oh my
There's so many.
Reading
There's
the
so
wrong
many
shit.
books.
Read book. Talk to a
Let's do
librarian.
this. Yeah, there's a book. It's called "Who Is Esau Edom?"
But now,
Look at it.
That's the wrong
It's just
book.
one.
Talk to a
No,
librarian.
it's okay. This is another book. The Jew, a Negro. Go get that book. Read.
the reason why you don't think you're West End is because you're ashamed of your ancestors and you try to fucking steal other people's identities. You're not fucking descended from Israelites. You're a dirtbag.
Little Sammy, can I ask you a question?
Hitler does not deserve being liked.
Little Sammy, have the Jewish people?
By turd. Right now, I just don't want to deal with any anti-Semitism. I dealt with enough of it today.
Do you see how you're like unlocking the basics of Zionism? How you put up a flag that says "We love Jews," yay, and everyone that doesn't, you just kind of kick out and say, "Hey, you know what? This is a place for Jews." See, not so hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wonderful. Just say, "Oh, you are a piece of shit who like calls me an Edomite, says you like Hitler, and you're a fucking." Can you believe that there's two people on the stage that have said they like Hitler?
Clown,
What is that?
Yes, I can. I've been on Clubhouse for a while now, dude.
Yeah. So.
Okay, is that book legitimate, Mixed? Who is Esau Edom?
I don't know. I haven't read it. I said talk to a librarian. Reading isn't about saying like I read a book one time. It's about identifying the good books and reading those. You can't just find the ones that support the random little platform you want to have so you can hate the right people. That's a really dumb way to read. Honestly, you'd be better off if you hadn't read, if that's the way you're reading.
Hypocrite.
That's an interesting take.
Do you know, I just want you to convert to Judaism, so we can just fully accept you as a Jew. We already know so much about Judaism. You don't need to be part of a hateful ideology that says that me and Mixed are evil Edomites. You can just be part of it.
She doesn't actually believe that.
Deceiver.
But she's like very reasonable. Like her things, she doesn't think Jewish people are imposters. She basically thinks they just are more Israelites. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, why couldn't it be a time just said, "Hey, we're also Jews"? Why
that's what she believes.
Yeah, why do you have to say we're the? Why do they do that? No, you're right.
Well, to be honest, like I think it's more intellectually. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I do think it's irrational to believe what she believes. Just to be clear, like I think there's more sort of gaping holes. As in, the DHI hypothesis or theory is far neater than hers. Like hers is far more clunky or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like these extra holes. But I think she basically her like good nature is what creates the holes. Like her not being a kind of like a kind of like, I don't know, hate-filled, resentful kind of individual. But I think it's like
being accommodated.
That's rational.
She's trying to accept both as having persuasion, and Sam was making the point that they don't need to invoke like the Kuzari theory to delegitimate other Jews just to claim.
I think they do though.
Jewish identity. They can do that.
No, I think they do for their theory to make sense. I think they do.
Why?
Yeah, because I think it's just so. For instance, they want to say something like what was prophesied is ultimately the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, how many of the Ashkenazim do you know were, transported to the Americas? Right, like obviously none, pretty much. I don't think it's true for any. And ironically, the ones that do so, an Ashkenazi Jew now who has that kind of ancestry, presumably, if one of their ancestors was enslaved in sub-Saharan Africa, that probably wouldn't have been their Jewish ancestor. Like that's not, they're part of their Jewish heritage. So obviously, that's a problem.
So you're seeing it as like the main pull for them is the prophecy that they feel explains their situation better than anyone in history.
Right, and then also this idea of so let's just say, let's say it's undeniably the case, and let's say like one of these these Israelites that claim like you're an indigenous American or something. That's kind of obviously a whole nother kettle of fish.
Right.
But but if you actually accept that at the very least for a period, the ancient Israelites were in sub-Saharan Africa, then how do you square the circle in terms of the events that occurred in the New Testament, and then your people traveling to think, then a portion of them being left behind, but then I think it's just it complicates things far more unless you just say, hey, they all moved together, and the people who are now claiming to be the quote-unquote original Israelites, or claiming to be the people that comprise the Sanhedrin and blah blah blah, those people are all just fucking imposters. That's just
they obviously
it's a far more neat
from their parents.
Pardon?
Meaning it doesn't. No one ever took them seriously because they made it up. We can chart the era when they decided to call themselves this way, and we know that their parents didn't call themselves that way.
No. What I'm saying is
the narrative they came up with.
No. What I'm saying is it's far easier to say the current crop of Jewish people are imposters, and the reason we don't have this evidence is because of some great conspiracy. Right, their evidence is fabricated, and when we ask, wait, why didn't the original enslaved Africans in the Americas still write in Hebrew, and why can't we find any evidence of any Hebrew script or any inscriptions anywhere and stuff? And it's because these fake white Jews, exactly, right? Versus Dean Noel's theory is there was a period in which there were white Jews and black Jews and all living harmoniously and all accepting each other as a community. It's that's it's a far more kumbaya theory, and the proponent of it is probably a better human being, but it's actually less plausible, ironically.
Family.
Because it's less irrational.
It's trying to get to this prophecy is ours, and once you apply the prophecy to transatlantic slave, then everyone that didn't go through that, including the white Jews that maybe went through a Holocaust in some other era, doesn't matter. The Jews that call themselves Jews. Yeah, but
simply put, I probably haven't done it justice in terms of what's bad about her theory. Simply put, it's just their theory, as bad as it is for all the hits it takes, does kind of predict this dearth of evidence versus hers doesn't. We should find far more evidence on her.
And by the way, hers is just a different old story of the 10 lost tribes, which people have theorized about, and that's where
pretty much, But it's almost a nicer way of framing it. She has a far more moral position, but a less rational one. And they have negligibly more rational, but demonstration probably more and more.
Theirs is more simply consistent. Hers is lacking evidence, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget.
I probably prefer to take a rational hit over a moral one anyway, so.
Yo, Daniel, if you want to do trivia, we can do trivia right now.
Yo, the final boss is Venus, though. Oh, wow.
Stuffed is.
Yeah, Venus or Ethan or someone.
Greedy pockets.
Maybe.
You're right, Sam.
Talking about Sasha backing out of the debate.
Pfizer. Moderna.
On what?
You said you don't want to debate.
So somebody offered $1,000 for us to debate. So this was the deal. This was my deal to Sasha. He gets $1,000 if he wins, or at least this is the deal. He gets $1,000 if he wins. He told me he doesn't care.
Apologize.
Okay, so he gets $1,000 if he wins. He gets $500 for showing up, so he gets half the price just for showing up. Even if he loses, I get nothing for showing up, and I get $500 for winning. Those are my debate terms. He backed out of the debate.
What was the debate gonna be on?
Is there good cumulative evidence for God's existence?
Sorry, what were the terms again?
Good topic.
What were the terms again? Sorry.
Terms were $1,000 if he wins.
Mhm.
I get $500 if I win.
Mhm.
He gets $500 just for showing up.
Mhm.
Are you saying
Who's putting up the cash?
I think it was Sully and a couple of other people.
Oh wow.
So then why do you think she's backed out? What evidence you have of her backing out?
Not exactly sure. I mean,
So
by the way, these are the deals I'm offering him now. That he gets like $500 just
why are you correcting yourself if you said it doesn't matter? You said pronouns don't matter and stuff. And it's just like out of ease. Then why?
Yeah, he said it doesn't matter what pronouns I use.
So why did you just correct yourself now then?
Well, because I'm used to using a her pronoun.
Yeah.
But he said it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm gonna use a him pronoun.
So you want to not use a preferred pronoun?
What do you mean preferred pronoun? He told me it doesn't matter what pronoun I use.
Okay.
He has no preferences about what pronoun I use, so don't try to force rules when he said it doesn't matter.
You just corrected yourself, so clearly you have a preference.
I don't have I have a preference for him.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a preference.
I mean, unless he tells me he...
And plus, I was literally
Hey everybody, this is candidate-elect Kitover. I just want to show you what is on Darren Hood's X account from the year 2021 with regards to the vaccines. I am joining the Ways and Means GOP this morning for markup to discuss the COVID-19 relief. Our efforts to address the pandemic should be bipartisan and focus on getting people back to work, creating jobs, supporting vaccine distribution, and reopening schools and businesses. Thank you to the Morgan County Health Department and Pass Savant Hospital for the vaccination site tour in Jacksonville. The nurses and staff are working hard to distribute the vaccine to the community in an efficient way. The vaccine is safe and will help us get back to normal. I visited with the Sangamon County Health Department at the State Fairgrounds today to receive an update on vaccine distribution. I am grateful to their team and the Illinois National Guard for their work. The vaccine is safe, effective, and will help us get back to normal. Thank you to the Logan County Department of Public Health for giving me a tour of the Lincoln, Illinois Vaccine Center. They updated me on their current numbers and discussed their plan to continue increasing distribution. The vaccine is safe and effective and will help us get back to normal. Thank you to McLean Health for providing me with an update on vaccine distribution in the county. I am grateful to their team for their work to get the vaccine distributed. I will advocate for Congress to remain focused on issues like vaccine supply, distribution, and personnel. I continue to encourage Illinois to get vaccinated against COVID-19, especially as cases increase. Talk to your doctor or health pro who you know and trust to get the facts. I got the COVID-19 vaccine because I know it will help protect myself, my family, and our community. Great news! We now have a second effective authorized vaccine, thanks to Moderna and Operation Warp Speed. More Americans will now have access to a safe vaccine for COVID-19. Thanks to Operation Warp Speed and American innovation, the vaccine was developed in record time. The vaccine is safe, effective, and will help get us back to normal. More doses are on the way. Let's keep the numbers moving in the right direction. Approval of Pfizer's vaccine is great news for our country. This is a testament to the doctors, scientists, researchers who work tirelessly to get a safe vaccine. Thanks to Operation Warp Speed, we can begin safely distributing it as quickly as possible. This is an excellent news and an important step towards restoring our way of life. More positive news on a COVID-19 vaccine. This development shows tremendous potential and is a testament to the hard work supported by Operation Warp Speed. In Central Illinois, cutting-edge research and clinical trials are helping our country's effort to find COVID-19 vaccine. I spoke with Peoria Chamber, the U.S. Chamber Global IP Center, to discuss the innovative work our medical community is doing in Illinois 18. Republicans secured key victories in this year's NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, including ending the COVID-19 vaccine mandate on our armed forces, increasing funding to combat threats from China, Iran, North Korea, and China. So the reason why I wanted to record this is because there's a chance that he will delete these posts and it'll seem like he wasn't creating propaganda. And so if you go to my X account, which is Doge Republican, you can see an interesting little image graphic here. It's called "We Tried to Warn You." Myocarditis up 2,800%. Cancers up 300 to 900. Infertility in both genders up 500%. Miscarriages up 300%. Neurological disorders up 1,000. Demyelinating disorders up 1,000. Multiple sclerosis up 600%. Guillain-Barré syndrome up 5%. Pulmonary embolisms up 400%. And HIV up 500%. So, Darren LaHood, you tell me, how is it safe and effective? Follow me at Doge Republican. This is candidate-elect Kitover. The date today is June 10th, 2025. Thanks for visiting Doge Republican. Everybody. Damn. Damn. Cooking this motherfucker.
Even, presuppositions, he would be able to defend them much more cohesively. And
never forget that
Danny Philtalk is,
thief,
to me, seemed like a real sociopath. Like the way he comes across, this is how I imagine, I don't know, somebody like,
plotting to eat you.
yeah, exactly. Like stab me in the back if nobody was looking.
He does have kind of a maniacal look on his face. But Aga, let me ask you though. Have you ever debated Danny? That would actually be a good debate, I think. You and Danny would actually be pretty good.
We had a couple of brief discussions about Platonism a couple of years ago, but that was it. Nothing substantial.
Would you be willing to debate it?
Hell yeah. But I don't think he probably wants to debate me.
I don't know who this Young is. I'm about ready to ban him just because he's somebody that is normally in our rooms. He's somebody that goes by a different name. I just don't know who it is. And he won't reveal
if he gets banned, then you have to ban the person we were discussing earlier today, man.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, the debate with Danny would be my dream debate, because I don't think he's he might be very well versed in philosophy, but I don't think he has good defenses for his views.
Reveal yourself, Canada.
I despise these fishers, dude. It's like I really do. There's something that's just. It's like look.
Obviously, like a dumbass, but it might be like
somebody we know, right?
What's her name?
Pete, Skinny Pete. I don't know.
No. What's her name, man? Triple. Someone like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, she's like, maybe I just started reading the messages. Maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little too.
Something they know a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't pin it yet. But Young, if you don't reveal yourself, you just might not see any more rooms.
Honey? That's what MJ's like on the app.
He is.
Some of my friends. Yeah, mashallah. Yeah, it's good.
MJ's back? Where's MJ? I thought you chased away.
I cannot wake Daniel up, bro.
Daniel, do you have eyeliner up?
What did you say?
Yeah, that's not even English.
Do you have eyeliner up?
Yeah. And foundation.
Fucking hell, bro. Look at that dashing young man.
Yeah, my boy. I got dolled up for you.
Daniel's got
You wanna do trivia, bro?
Sam from good to sleep.
Trivia, my boy. Absolutely. I think you should redeem yourself. Trivia, my boy.
Who did he lose to?
He kicked Sasha out earlier because Sasha was the judge between him and fucking what's the dude's name?
Bob.
Well, yeah.
You lied on my boy Bob, Sam. I'm really disappointed in you about that.
He didn't know what an American lion is.
You know when I told you Delaney's like a dishonest guy, yeah? I know why you're motivated because you two got your little blood feud. But Zeleny just weighed in he obviously didn't know what to do.
You literally said that's the one thing. When I said you didn't know what an American lion is, you literally said to me, that's the one thing you got on me, which means I did get it on him.
Look, that's not the point. It's not that he didn't know what it is. It's that him saying that dinosaurs don't exist doesn't mean that he's a conspiracy theorist about dinosaurs. It's very plausible that if someone said that in the context of the discussion, that literally what they mean is dinosaurs are extinct.
So
like, that is a way of paraphrasing.
When I say to you, Timothy, you thought that lizards weren't animals, and you say that's the one thing you got on me. Did I correctly evaluate your flaw in your thinking?
I think that didn't hit. So just be fair, I'm not. If you're saying he said he legit thought like it was a fucking mythical creature, and he said yes to that. Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. Sorry, I'll just concede that to you. But I don't think he thinks that, right? I think him and Sasha at least agreed with me that like he didn't mean it's fictional. He meant it's extinct.
No, he said that's the one thing you got on me. So
so now we're gonna have to ask him. So and I'll concede, like I'll disagree with you. I'm right if I'm wrong. Yeah. If we ask Kiwa, did you admit to Sam that you thought American lions were fucking fictional creatures?
No. Yes. You asked him. Had you heard of American lions before Sam brought them up?
That's not inconsistent with what I'm saying.
Oh my god.
He could say he could say I never heard of them before, but like I read a Wikipedia article, and when I said then they don't exist, what I meant is that they are extinct.
The only hill I'm willing to die on is they'd never heard of them before. I brought it up. That's the hill I'm willing to die on.
I'm saying it's back.
Okay, but then that doesn't matter though.
Dan was right about it.
No, you were saying, Sam, you were saying he was retarded. He thought they were fucking mythical creatures. That they didn't actually, like, they never existed. That's what you were saying.
No, I was saying he just never heard of them. I didn't know of them.
Millions from Blue Cross.
Okay, so when he said that they don't exist, you are happy to accept that what he meant was that they were extinct, yeah?
Never apologize. The data doesn't lie.
So what did he mean?
He meant that I was just making some shit up that isn't real.
He said he thought that an American lion was a fictional creature, right?
Yeah, that I just had confused about whether there's a thing there's American lion.
Okay, and so I'm challenging you, so this way you can ask him, I guess, is that what he was saying was that they're extinct.
Let's just watch the replays. No. The replays were on. But...
Okay, but just be clear, whether or not he knew about it before you said it, it's perfectly consistent. Like either way, it's perfectly consistent with him saying they're extinct. You agree with that, right?
I said again, sorry.
Like, if you tell me a pterodactyl exists, if you introduce a pterodactyl into a discussion between us, right? And I say like, bro, pterodactyls don't exist. Regardless of whether or not I knew what a pterodactyl was before or after, it's consistent with me saying they don't exist and meaning they're extinct. Like me knowing about pterodactyls before or after is like irrelevant as to whether I meant they are extinct or, you know what I'm saying? So that wasn't clear. I'm saying, you're saying he didn't know what a mountain lion was before you introduced it, right?
American lion.
American lion, sorry, American lion. Okay, and I'm saying, him responding with, they don't exist, is consistent with him believing that they are extinct. Do you agree with that?
Listen, once he came to believe that the thing that he didn't know existed, I'm sure he came to believe quickly that they're extinct now. But there was a moment between us talking where I said, there's this thing, American lions, him going, that's not a real thing, where he just had never heard of it. I introduced it to him. Now, whether after that point he said, oh, now I believe they're extinct, maybe, but that's not relevant to the point that I'm making. It's just that he hadn't heard of them until I was.
What the fuck was that room called? Is it?
Just the one for this one, brother.
COVID-19 vaccine fraud.
Probably.
Alright, see how quick I can find it. I'll be back.
Gun grabber. Dead creator.
Alright, now I'm gonna give you guys all a zoology lesson on really obscure shit in the ocean. I'm just kidding, you guys don't give a fuck.
Only 0.
Here's how I judge whether a person should be judged brought on stage. If they have at least 200 or 300 friends, that's like a pretty good proxy that like, at least some people are talking to them. If they have only like 10 or 20 followers, if their profile is really good, then I'll bring them up. Or if their picture's good, I'll bring it up. Yeah, those are my criteria basically. Question 1. Oh, nice.
Which has the thickest fur of any mammal?
That's a good question. Thickest fur of any mammal.
You just warm up so you can just guess. It's not going to get deducted any points.
Yeah, I just gotta think about this. So it's probably gonna be some Arctic thing.
That's right.
And let's see. I mean, alright, is it the polar bear? No. Is it the Arctic fox? What is the answer?
Sea otter.
Oh, that makes sense.
Zoology trivia question number 2. The age of a lion can be determined by its blank.
Oh, lots of things. You could learn, its size, its mane, its, how many scars it has. Let's just say mane.
Its nose.
Oh, interesting.
Its nose. What? Zoology trivia. That's good trivia. What is the only mammal capable of flight?
A bat.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Correct. We gotta warm up, or can you, I want to get you in a good shape so we can just, like, when you're talking mad shit, like dismissing your knowledge and shit in some ways. You see, I know more about this than you, and I find myself frequenting Wikipedia pages.
Sam?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to let this one go. It's kind of like that one time. No, I'll be real with you. It was like that one time. I'm sympathetic to your misunderstanding, because it was like one time we had a debate about like race or something, and I took you to say something like basically #all, but when you said it was like a probabilistic inference, like basically it's like, I think you said something like, oh, it's actually more probable that like a white person is gonna be more genetically similar to me than a black person, even though it's like clearly possible. And I took you to be saying something like, no, if we're both white, we're gonna be, have more similar genomes than, me and a black person. And like I listened back and I had to apologize. I was like, okay, actually I was wrong, I misheard you. So like basically all the arguments I made were kind of like misguided or something, or misapplied. This is kind of one of these situations, because basically you don't hear him say, wait, extinct. And then he says, but they don't exist.